What's up guys, it's another Let's Play. We're playing Dragon Quest XI Echoes of you know the rest. This game needs no introduction, so I want to make this short and we'll jump right into the action. I'll just make a new adventure log real quick, and some people still don't know this, but on the name character select screen, you know what I'm talking about, you can select draconian quests. They're like difficulty modifiers and you know it, I'm going for all of them. As for the name, I always name my main characters the same in these games, so of course I'm gonna name him... Well, actually let me back off for a second. You know, my usual go-to name for any playthrough of anything was always just the word easy. It originated from a nickname I used to have long ago, and also because I just thought it was absolutely hilarious to play on hard mode and then have the word easy, or like next to the word hard, you know. But that's what I do for playthroughs when I'm doing them, you know, not as a let's play, when I'm playing for my private enjoyment. And this isn't especially a let's play for my private enjoyment, so I should maybe give it 1 or 2 more thoughts. But even if I want to, you know, I'm just bad at naming things. I mean, my theory is that nobody's actually good at naming things, right? There are just different degrees of how little fuck someone gives. It's not like a question of creativity, it's just, hey, how soon do you accept, nah, I'm not gonna come up with anything special, and you decide to just go for, well, I don't know, Mike. On that note, you know the subreddit r/tragedy, I think that's the exact opposite what happens when people really care about what they name things. So giving less fucks is probably for the better. That being said, just because now I have this idea, hey, I'm gonna make a new name, I'm gonna get something clever, that doesn't mean that necessarily I'm going to immediately have an idea. So maybe I should just go for what I'm always going for. Actually, this is something that I've been thinking about a little bit when it comes to my scripted content on a way more meta level. Right, like I just get too in my head about it. And it tends to not be for the better. Like I make content that is only understandable at a certain level. Like for example, I had a section in my wiki video where I'm talking about taking back certain rhetorics and whatever, and I just had this idea, yeah, I'm gonna include a couple of quotes from certain grifters and it's gonna be great. And then I made this section like drag on and on because I had to include more and more, and that probably made it more obvious to certain people, but my goal should no longer be just, hey, I want, I don't know, everyone that views the video to understand that. It should be that it's okay if people don't understand, and yeah, I just try to make whatever it is that I want to make. And if some people don't understand, hey, that's not really my problem, right? Asmongold in his one video, the big reaction that blew up, you know the one. He said, I believe, these deranged he said, how come that we have conceded this much ground to these deranged weirdos, that was the one. And I could have just included that one, right, like just one quote, and that would have been it. And honestly, that's what I should have done, because feedback that I've gotten for the video was, oh, that was so meandering and that whole section was so empty when basically saying nothing. And yeah, I was just doing something stylistically, and the people that don't understand, they are just sitting there thinking, damn, this sucks. And yeah, that sucks that people don't get it, but at the same time I just can't work under the assumption that everybody is going to understand, right? My videos need to function on different levels. Like I want my video to be good for someone that is, you know, just casually watching in the background and not really paying attention, and I want them to also work for people that are really paying attention. And what I've been doing like over the past couple of videos, just because of the topic of course, yeah, it's that I'm trying to make these videos that are really good if you do understand them, and I'm trying to also push people into the direction of thinking about them on a deeper level. But at the same time, that isn't sustainable because, well, people just aren't going to always understand it. I guess sustainable isn't the best word. What I was more thinking of is, it's a pipe dream. I guess that's more fitting because people just won't understand. Like, no matter how obvious you make something, even if you outright say something in a video, people are going to misunderstand. Like, I had this one tips video on Dragon Quest 3 HD when it came out, and it was a bit of a parody of the guides that were going around at the time, or at least, well, not exactly a parody, but you know, the type of style that I'm just now noticing. Yeah, this is a bit of a style that I've established, that I'm just getting so insanely meta with my videos. But basically, it was, yeah, poking fun at other guides that were coming around at the same time. And like one person, or while making the video, I was still thinking to myself, hey, but there are good guides out there and people are gonna comment about that. So I'm going to just, somewhere in the middle of the video I said, yeah, but there are also good guides or whatever, something along those lines. And then I listed a couple, and one of them was David Vink. David Vink? Fuck. Yeah, I should probably edit this out, holy. I knew it once, I knew how to pronounce his name once. Pretty sure it's David Vink. Yeah, anyways, I added a section, hey, he's alright, because I was thinking people were gonna comment, but what about him, you forgot about X or Y. And then, either way, despite that, I got a comment from someone just saying, how dare you insult him, and I was like, obviously, I had no fucking idea what he was talking about. It was just someone that saw the name, saw the video was generally in a negative tone about, well, speaking about guides in a negative tone, and then his name was mentioned, so the guy just thought, yeah, I bet he's insulting him. I don't, like, you gotta watch the video on, or got to have watched the video on mute or something. But either way, oh, yeah, you might be noticing I'm sick, not just because I got the Dragon Quest drip, sick not just because I'm an influencer, but also because I'm down with, yeah, no, I'm not going there. Either way, it's like, yeah, obviously, not an isolated example, just people are going to not understand whatever you say, because I have this like obsession with putting everything possible into a video, so that when someone does comment, I could just point out, hey, this section, watch it. But also because I just want people to watch the whole thing, right? Or rather, I work under the assumption that a video is going to work if you watch all of it, but people just aren't going to, right? Like, I think most analytics for YouTubers are going to look that way, that like, people watch until maybe even 60-70% of the way through, but after that, like, people that fully watch something, that's usually like 10%, but, well, I was gonna say on my channel, but yeah, I think that is just the standard. Oh, fuck. Either way, obviously not what the format is for, right? If you make a movie, sure, but that sort of got me to think, and my solution right now is just that I like stop writing with bad comments in mind, if you get what I'm saying. Or at least that's what I've been doing for my recent scripts. Like, this isn't relevant to you as a viewer at all, but I'm just talking about what I got on my mind. I can't really talk about anything else, right? But yeah, just that I stop making these videos or stop writing in such a way that I'm trying to anticipate what could someone say, and then I include like a little disclaimer, because people don't watch the disclaimer usually, or the people that write, you know, comments trying to, well, I'll just say discredit. You know, I had the same situation recently, not with just a nobody, but like this one grifter. He was under my wiki video, and I tried to predict that. I tried to have the section where I'm saying, hey, like, if you're a grifter watching this trying to nitpick a single thing, then yeah, try to answer these couple of, or give me an answer to these sorts of questions first. One of the grifters literally watched the video, saw that disclaimer, and just decided, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna try to nitpick a single joke anyways. Like, that's such a bad look, it's unbelievable. But that just goes to show, you know, people don't really care about every single detail from your video. I gotta say though, that was a positive example. That's one of the cases where this more minute style, I guess I call. Is minute a fucking word? Well, you get what I'm trying to say. I swear a lot when I'm unscripted. I'm just now noticing that. Yeah, either way, that guy, like, walking into that prediction is obviously an awful look. And I think for that sort of video, that's worth it. But obviously it depends on the topic, and the videos that are coming up are not going to be, well, as real as, well, fuck, I don't wanna say drama video, and I don't wanna swear so much, but yeah, that's sort of what my couple last videos have become. I mean, no, they're not really about drama, it's just that they're about actual controversial topics that can be argued about. And for those, I totally would still use the same style tomorrow. It's more just that I'm trying to get the switch from writing for a video like that, trying to write, well, you know, about a controversial topic where people are going to be there dissecting it and trying to find a flaw, to now more story analysis type or just video essay type. Well, I guess those are also video essays, that's just a form. But you get what I'm saying, I'm moving to more videos that are just me talking about a game or a story, and for those, like, people are still going to misunderstand something either way, but I'm just not going to care about that so much. Yeah, basically that's what I'm trying to do with my writing nowadays, and I have no idea where I was going with all of this. Give me 1 second. Well, I don't know where I was going with this, but either way I'm just gonna keep going in that direction. Maybe I'll get somewhere eventually. It's cause, you know, there was one instance of this that really made me self-reflect, because I had this video that was a parody once again of just these gaming videos, these gaming challenge one videos where somebody pretends to be at this roadblock and they make it all dramatic and stuff. Except I made it like super over the top. So it was 3HD without random encounters, if I remember correctly. Like, the title for that one might have changed once or twice, so I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I had this section where I'm saying like I'm stuck on this boss and why would I finish this anyways? I got so much self-doubt. I can't pronounce for shit. But anyways, I just kept going and made these points about why I shouldn't continue and why it's so awful, boo-hoo, poor me. And I made it like 10 minutes long, just straight up. And then in the end it was a bit of a character arc, but it was kind of rushed, or rather it moved to a more normal pacing while, you know, 10 minutes of whining. Which, in my eyes that video is hilarious, okay? But I think a lot of people didn't understand, which is completely fine. But the problem is that back then I saw that as a bit of a problem, or that I had this like reaction thinking, oh damn, those people didn't understand, that's a problem, that's bad, and I need to fix that, like. But nowadays I'm thinking that my takeaway shouldn't have been that, it should have just been, yeah, it's okay that people don't understand, right? You know, one longtime viewer under that video even wrote something along the lines of, hey, I don't hope that you get as successful as you want to be, but I want you to be happy. I want you to learn to live with, well, what you have right now, to appreciate it. And first of all, I don't know what you grew up with. I grew up with like Naruto, Dragon Ball, you know, shows about, hey, follow your dreams. And not shows about, hey, learn to live without having fulfilled your dreams, right? That is the first thing. But second, yeah, just my reaction was immediately, oh, I gotta clear it up, and that just isn't the case. And it's like perfectionism. You know, these people that at the job interview, when you ask them, hey, what's the biggest flaw you got? And their answer is just, oh, I'm just such a perfectionist. My list is a bit longer, but somewhere on there, perfectionist would be as well. Yeah, I guess it really is just that I, something in my head just doesn't want it to be true. Oh no, people are going to misunderstand a video, they're going to watch it, they're going to watch me make a segment, you know, like in that video, and they're going to think, oh no, he's really, I don't know, this unhappy with his channel and whatever. And something in my head just doesn't want people to think that, right? Like, I really want everyone to understand that. I want the world to be in order, but it just, we can't have that, right? So yeah, that's sort of what I've been thinking about when it comes to my top content lately, at least my scripted stuff. I don't really know what I'm thinking about right now. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm thinking about. Well, one thing y'all shouldn't think is that I'm thinking badly of you. Like, I think all of you are stupid, don't get me wrong. Like, I've read your comments, not individually, but like collectively, my audience is stupid. But that isn't necessarily supposed to be like an insult, right? I mean that in the most endearing way possible. You know, I think the internet as a whole is stupid after all. Or at least I think that shouldn't be an unpopular opinion. Like, if you ask people, hey, is Twitter as a collective or any other platform, be it YouTube comments or be it, yeah, I don't really know anything. Would you say that collectively they're stupid? Then I think it's a pretty like I just don't know how to speak, what the fuck. It's like a normal opinion to have, it's not out there. Uncontroversial. I don't know why my brain couldn't just make the word uncontroversial. Anyways, yeah, I really don't know what I'm even talking about. You know, something else that I've been thinking about is just the nature of Dragon Quest content. And I firmly believe that the future of Dragon Quest content is social. And I mean, Dragon Quest has always worked best as a social phenomenon. Be it Dragon Quest 1, where everybody is talking about how to progress on the playground, or whether it's, I don't know. I know why I said whatever. Or be it Dragon Quest 9 playing together, be it Dragon Quest 10, you know the drill. That's obviously what it works best at. And I think that is a forgotten phenomenon, but it isn't necessarily lost. So Let's look at, well, 3HD. I think the reason that the guides did so well is not necessarily just because the wikis suck and there's not much information out there. Part of that, sure, but I think, for example, Equano's videos do have some value even if they're bad as guides, because at the end of the day that's not much different, or rather it's the same, well, feeling, I guess, or people get the same feeling from those videos as they would just talking to their friends about how to progress in one of those games. Like, he obviously didn't know what he was talking about, but it had the feeling that you're just playing the game alongside him and he's just sharing his, well, unfounded opinions, but still his opinions. Or I guess they're not necessarily unfounded, they're just not very well founded, like only on a single playthrough and that's what I did. But like this discussion about strategy, etc., that is always an integral part to the Dragon Quest experience. In that sense, guides aren't necessarily just there to give you the best information, they're also there to just make you feel like you're talking to someone about the game, right? And that does have value, but I also think it's kind of like reaction content or a let's play for that, for the sake of argument, right? Like, I think they don't necessarily provide something new, and I think it's cheap content, even if people do value it. So what I mean is, obviously reaction content, just stealing content, is an absolute no-go, but let's plays are kind of like that. I mean, it depends, you're obviously bringing your own personality, but if you make the gameplay the star of the show like I'm doing right now, then people aren't watching for you, but they're watching for the game. I always felt it was a bit lazy and unoriginal, right? I mean, obviously if you have a lot of insight, then there's an argument to be made. Like, I think I could make a great Dragon Quest 7 Let's Play, where I just talk about all the stuff that you wouldn't usually pick up on, because there are so many details that I had to leave out. But if I made a Let's Play of, I don't know, Dragon Quest 12 when it comes out, just blind going in there, well, okay, even then I could probably give you some perspectives. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could even make the same argument about story analysis type videos, that they're not really adding anything. Like, the thing that people are interested in is not your takes, but instead the story as a whole, or just the story without you, not as a whole. But you could only make that argument when you're stupid, right? Like, that's what I meant earlier when I said I always think about what stupid people would say and I then include that in videos. Like, obviously if I make a scripted video now, I'm just cutting out that section where I'm talking about a theoretical argument. But for the sake of argument, I think the difference is that you would never get the full picture that I'm giving you in one of my videos if you just thought about it for yourself. Like, I think if you just think about, well, I mean, you'd arrive at it eventually, but it helps a lot. Like, for example, Dragon Quest 7, the connections or figuring out that there are so many parallels between Bogomilism and the in-world cosmology, like, I don't think that's necessarily completely redundant and it's not that obvious. And similar, certain discussions about themes, I bet there's something for everyone that if they even played the game before, if they played it multiple times, like, they wouldn't necessarily understand, or I guess understand is a harsh word. Yeah, they wouldn't necessarily pick up on every little detail. And yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Those videos, they still worked under like multiple perspectives. Like if you never played Dragon Quest 7, then they don't work. But if you played it multiple times and you're really digging deep into them, then they work. And I guess they don't work so well. Like that was my focus, and they don't work all that well if you're not really that interested in Dragon Quest 7. And that's sort of the balance that I'm trying to strike. That even if you don't care about it, like you only vaguely remember the story, they would still work and not drag on as much. But I think they do a little bit. Like I'll be honest, I haven't rewatched them in relatively long. Like only a couple episodes, and then it was enough for me to like figure out what I was doing wrong when writing them. Did I say a time span? Like I didn't make those videos a year ago. Well, in a while either way. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. No, I do remember. That is just a nitpick that I have with content as a whole though. Like sometimes I do wish that people were more critical though. Like that is not the reality. Obviously, if people were ultra critical of content they watch, then mine would be doing better than it is. Or it wouldn't necessarily do better in terms of numbers, but people would appreciate it more. And you know, the stuff that I really don't like watching, that would do worse, or just, I don't know, get more dislikes. Really, the YouTube algorithm confuses me. Like the fact that dislikes push you in the algorithm because it's engagement, that's just fuck to me, but whatever. Either way, yeah, you know, these video essays, I'm always keeping it this vague, but I also don't want, regardless of what you might think if you watch my last couple of videos, I really don't like starting, I don't know, firing shots at people for no reason. But video essays often tend to just start summarizing somewhere along the way. And at that point, I do think that there can be, or that someone could make an argument, or that I will just make the argument right now, that that's not transformative. Like you're just telling the story. And I think that's really creatively bankrupt. So in other words, hey, if you're making a video essay on whatever, any game, movie, book, and you just start summarizing the story, every time you do that, a small German child dies a most gruesome death. So don't do that. But you know, speaking of small German children getting mauled to death, yeah, I think I don't want to follow the same old naming. I might spice it up a little bit. At least this time I won't start with a capital E. Maybe a lowercase one though, I'm not sure yet. Either way, that is it for today. We've already made a good bit of progress. We've eliminated one possible starting letter, the capital E, and I might do some off-screen grinding to try and get rid of a couple more letters. But you can tell me in the comments whether or not you want to see that live on camera, right? Either way, join me next time when maybe we can get rid of some of the lowercase letters, huh? How does that sound? Well, have a good one, and make sure not to summarize in your video essays, seriously. Also, make sure to stay incoherent in your unscripted videos. I heard that's a really good thing to do.